What's going on, everyone? Omar here. And in today's video, I want to talk about junk sets and junk reps. If you're wasting time doing junk sets and overtraining and doing 10 sets of chest workouts, do you really think that's effective? Because I've been thinking about this lately, and the reason why I have this channel now is to bring awareness that you don't need 5, 6, 7 sets to stimulate muscle growth. In my last video, I talked about the mind to muscle connection. And so in this video, continuing on from the mind muscle connection, is how many sets do you actually need to be effective? What's the actual minimum effective dose for you to get results in the gym, for you to trigger hypertrophy? How can you do that? Because that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to trigger muscle growth. But by overtraining, by doing more sets than necessary, that's considered junk volume and is actually counterproductive. Not only does it make you super fatigued, but it also affects your ability to perform on the other exercises that you plan to do that gym session. You waste time, you waste energy, and you overtrain and you overfatigue the muscle. And that's an issue. What we really need to focus on is mechanical tension. That's the key. Because with mechanical tension, you're getting the most bang for your buck. You're identifying the specific reps that you need and how many sets that you need in order to do the bare minimum to activate muscle activation and trigger mechanical tension and ultimately protein synthesis, hypertrophy, and muscle growth. That's really what you want to do. And if we know how many reps we need to get to failure, we can focus in that range to get to failure. And it's really the last few reps close to failure that's really going to trigger muscle growth. It's not just doing 5 sets or 6 sets or 7 sets, because you could have very well triggered muscle growth after the second set. And any set after that is just counterproductive. And you've overstimulated the muscle, and that could even lead to injury and also delay recovery. And we don't want that either, because we want to do just enough to stimulate the muscle, but not have to spend 6 or 7 days to recover from a super brutal workout. And the way to know is to actually track your workouts. What I used to use back in the day, I used to use this app on my iPhone called Strong. And I used to record all of my sets, all of my reps within each set, figure out what days I'm going to work my upper body, lower body, or if it's a push-pull leg split routine, then I can identify which days I'm doing my pushing exercises, my pulling exercises, and following the leg exercises, and structured in a manner where I can know what exercises I'm doing when I get to the gym and know how many times per week that I'm going to be hitting these exercises and working these particular muscle groups. And so if you're tracking your exercises, and you should track your exercises, and I do recommend the Strong app, then you'll know where you're going in terms of structuring your exercises, how many sets you're doing, how many reps you're doing, and avoiding junk volume. So I do recommend that if you're doing a lot of sets and a lot of reps, and you have to rest so much because you're just overtaxing yourself. So not only are you wasting time, imagine you're going to the gym, you're doing, let's say, 5 or 6 sets. And between each set, because you're so fatigued, going to failure on every single set, you're resting 3 minutes. That adds up so fast. After an hour, you might have only done, let's say, 3 exercises. And that's not being efficient. And let's say you had 9 exercises you plan to do. If it took you 3 exercises in 1 hour and you have 6 more exercises to go, well, that's going to take you 3 hours in the gym, going at that rate. And that's how you can really spend a lot of time in the gym, overtraining, overtaxing yourself, getting to a point where you're going to be so fatigued and brutalized, it's going to take you 5 days to recover from this workout. You can't go back and re-stimulate the muscle until 5 days later, the same muscle group. And it's going to be difficult for you. And you've just spent 3 hours in the gym, not considering the time even for you to drive there and drive back home. You think about that, 3 hours just in the gym itself to get to the gym and to warm up, it could very well be 4.5 hours for that whole entire ordeal. And if you get to the gym, let's say at 6:30, considering how busy it would be after a weekday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., it's going to take quite some time for you to do just one gym workout. And this channel is not about punishing yourself and brutalizing yourself. It's about stimulating the necessary amount of muscle growth in the least amount of time and getting the most amount of results in your workouts. So I just wanted to emphasize that there are better ways to do things. When I say better ways, what am I saying? What I would recommend instead is you have your routine, let's say it's push-pull legs, and you do that 6 days a week. But then you target your workouts to be 45 minutes, no more than 1 hour. And maybe for a lot of you that's been working out for 2 or 3 hours, 45 minutes, you might think that's impossible. There's no way. Now, what if you could do, let's say, 1, or I would recommend 2 sets, and the number of reps maybe 6 to 8 reps, and resting 2 minutes, or even 1.5 minutes per set. How many exercises do you think you can get in 45 minutes? Considering that you're only doing 2 sets, you're resting about 1.5 minutes between each set, and you're going to failure, you're stimulating the muscle. How many exercises could you possibly do in that 45 to 1 hour time frame? You could do about 8 to 9 exercises, which is amazing. You could hit different muscle groups at different angles to stimulate the muscle by executing 9 exercises. So instead of performing 9 exercises over 3 hours, you could essentially perform 9 exercises over the course of 45 minutes to an hour by working efficiently, knowing what target muscle you're going to attack, applying the mind-muscle connection, being very intentional, being completely locked in on the exercise that you're doing things in a very controlled manner, going to failure, of course, with safety, have a spotter, or at least have some safety mechanisms in place. If you're going to get in a situation you could potentially be pinned underneath a barbell, have those safety measures in place and see how that goes. In a future video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out my sample exercises that I typically do, the 8 or 9 exercises that I do over the course of 1 hour. And I'm going to break it down and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. So if you found this video helpful, if this opened your mind to the idea of trying to perform 8 or 9 exercises over the course of 1 hour, hey, I'm glad that this provided you with some level of insight that there are better ways and more efficient ways of doing things rather than doing the whole traditional way of what people think of spending 2 or 3 hours in the gym to get results. You don't need to do that. You can get the exact same or close results by spending 45 minutes to 1 hour, and I'll break that down for you in an upcoming future video. So if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Share this video with whoever thinks you might find value in this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.